Word processing applications have made it so much easier to produce valuable information in the form of text. However, it doesn't change the way in which text is displayed and/or formatted. For instance, if we were writing a letter, it has a specific way in which it is formatted and where specific information must be placed on the page. When typing it doesn't change this type of format. The latest versions of Microsoft Office Suite has a ribbon that replaces the conventional toolbars or menus that were previously buttons that were clicked on to access a list of commands. The ribbon is divided into groups of commands that are related to each other. Let's take a look at the ribbon. A typical Microsoft Word window looks as follows. The title bar at the very top of the window, which houses the quick access toolbar to the left. The title of the document is displayed in the middle, and a minimize ribbon button to the right of the title, and the normal, minimize, maximize, and close buttons on the right. Below the title bar is the ribbon tabs, which simulate everyday card dividers. Each tab has been specifically designed to house commands that are related to each other, like the Home ribbon has all commands relating to formatting of a document, the Insert, anything you want to insert, and so forth. Directly below the ribbon is the Workspace, which simulates a piece of paper with rulers and margins, both horizontally and vertically. At the bottom of the screen is the status bar, which gives us more information about our document on the left, and to the right, buttons to change our views and the zoom slider. Entering text is as easy as typing a letter on the keyboard. Selecting text, on the other hand, has a number of criteria and/or approaches. Typing skills will be an advantage here in order to have less frustration and complete tasks timeously. Some terminology to remember when working on the computer, as most of the instructions will be referred to these terminology. When the word pointer is used in instructions, it is referring to your mouse pointer. Hold means holding the key in while pressing other keys. Release the hold on the key when you are finished doing what you needed to do. A press is simply a press of the button. For instance, press and release immediately. Shift plus Control is always held with the left-hand side of the keyboard. Cursor is the little blinking line that you see while editing. Remember to always check your cursor's placement before executing a task. It's important that your cursor is always placed at the position where you want to insert, select, or remove, delete, whatever the case may be. So always check and make sure that your cursor is always selected at the place where you want to perform the task first. When using the mouse to select text, click on the text to select. Now, when we say click on the text to select, we either need to decide is it in front, behind, wherever the case may be. If we click in the middle of the text, it will obviously only select from that position. Remember, your cursor's placement is important, so make sure that you select it either at the beginning or the end or wherever you want to be first. Hold the left mouse button and simply drag over the text. The text will be highlighted. When using the keyboard, make sure you're at the beginning of the text, like we mentioned. Hold the Shift key, then press the directional arrow on your keyboard, and each character will be highlighted with each press of the arrow. In this instance, when we're selecting words, actual words, that doesn't matter where we click the cursor. The cursor just needs to be clicked on the actual word, and that can actually be in the middle. Then we double click the left mouse button and the entire word will be highlighted. When we use the keyboard, we need to make sure that you're at the beginning of the word. Then you hold Shift and Control, so you need to hold those two buttons in, and then you press the right or left arrow depending on the direction you want to select. When selecting entire lines, do the following. Move the pointer into the margin on the left. So you'll move your mouse pointer into the left-hand side, directly onto the left-hand side. You'll notice that the cursor changes and the arrow is directed to the right. We click the left mouse button and the entire line will be highlighted. Using the keyboard, make sure once again you're at the beginning of the sentence, hold Shift and Control and press the End key and then the right or left arrow depending on the direction to highlight the entire row. When wanting to select an entire paragraph, we once again move the pointer into the margin on the left. We double click the mouse button this time and the entire paragraph is highlighted. When using the keyboard, make sure you're at the paragraph or at the beginning of the paragraph that you want to highlight. Then you hold Shift and Control and press the down arrow and the entire paragraph is highlighted. When wanting to open or launch Microsoft Word, look for the shortcut icon on your desktop. If you don't have one, you can simply use the search option, or you can go into your applications, and most of the Microsoft Office suite is always placed together. So there's my Microsoft Word icon. I can click on it and it will open up in the back end, which is what's referred to in the new Office 365. Once your program is launched, mine is taking a while. With the latest versions, they do take a little time to open up. Then I can set a blank document. Once my document is open, I can verify with the screen. There's my title bar, there's my tabs, there's my ribbon, here's my ruler that we showed earlier on, and here's my slider bar and my status bar at the bottom. Now if I'd like to type text, I can simply start typing and I can say, this is my very first Microsoft Word lesson. And in the case if I wanted to remove something or I wanted to go to the next line, I press enter. Or if I wanted to use the keyboard to highlight that entire word, I'm going to hold Control and Shift and press my left arrow and it's going to take me to my entire word. If I use the mouse, for instance, I can just simply double click on the word. If I wanted to highlight the entire line or paragraph, I can simply go and stand here in the left margin and double click once for a line and double click if it was an entire paragraph. For one text at a time, I simply hold the Shift key and I move to the left the amount of characters I want to remove. Very important here to remember the difference between the backspace and the delete key. Backspace will delete characters to the left of the cursor. Delete will delete characters to the right of the cursor. So in this case, if my cursor is standing there in front of the S, if I press backspace, it will delete the S. If I press delete, it will delete the 0 or the O in that case. Alright, so make sure that you know the difference between the delete as well as the backspace. Go and play around with that, type up some text for yourself. And that's a wrap for launching Microsoft Word, entering text and selecting a variety of types of text. Let's take a look at what we've learned. Selecting text and or typing requires good motor skills and hand-eye coordination. Always place the cursor where you want the typed text placed first. Selecting one letter at a time may prove challenging with the mouse. Use the keyboard instead. And document layout is very important.